It's a win of historic proportions. The Owls soar past Nova, leaving the Wildcats with a long bus ride back to the main line.
Plus, seasons are wrapping up and we look ahead to championships. Owl Sports Update is back in studio and we start right now.
Welcome on in, Owl fans. You're tuned in to another edition of Owl Sports Update. She's Courtney Murphy, I'm Ray Dunn, and you are in for a jam-packed half hour of Owl Sports action.
We're in studio and there's a ton of content to get through. But first, some news starting with the fellas on Broad who are trying to get out of a COVID pause and back onto the court.
Was a tumultuous early season with all but one of the Owls' non-conference games getting canceled before the new year. Since returning to the hardwood in mid-January, Temple had its schedule shuffled with several games canceled, and that includes the team's last two regular season games against UCF and Wichita State. The final tally for Temple was 6 AAC games canceled due to COVID-19 and 11 overall.
Good news, the Owls got back onto the court Thursday for the first time with a team practice. And in just 1 week, the team heads down to Texas for the AAC tournament. However, will they make it with their 4-10 conference record? For that, we're joined in the newsroom by Courts and Sessions, Josh Saffron. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Courtney, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Let's get this started. With the tournament just a week away, do you see any harm for the team since they just got back to practice?
Yeah, well, this layoff, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Now, first is the positive here. The extra week and a half off should give time for Damian Dunn to return 100%, and Temple will be playing at full strength, something they've only done 6 games this year. Now, there's an obvious negative here. When they take the court next Thursday, it will be 15 days since their last game. Earlier this season, they had an 11-day layoff, their longest of the season. When they returned, it was an 11-point loss to SMU. So Owls fans will hoping history does not repeat itself next Thursday in the AAC tournament.
Okay, Josh Saffron, thank you again for your knowledge. We'll be back in a bit to talk women's hoops. It was senior day at home for the Owls' first of back-to-back games against Memphis. We started off with Mia Davis throwing it to Jaisha Clinton for 2. She was the second highest scorer for the Owls with 21 points. Next, we have the highest scorer of the game, Alexa Williamson. That's just 2 of her 29. Owls up at halftime, 42-27. Second half, Memphis tried to catch up, but the Owls were cooking with gas, stretching the lead to high as 21. Special shout out to Owl Sports Update's Nicolette and Mayo coming in clutch from downtown. Owls get this dub, 89-66. The Owls head into the conference tournament locked into the 5th seed. This schedules Temple for a first-round matchup with the 4th seed, Tulane, next Tuesday. The Green Blades swept the season series with the Owls 2-0. Temple allowed over 75 points per game between the two matchups with Tulane. That marked nearly 10 points higher than Temple's average points allowed per game. We're bringing back Josh Saffron in the newsroom. So, Temple and Tulane in round 2 after the first round bye. What needs to change for round 3?
Well, I think it's important we remember the context of that doubleheader against Tulane. It came when Temple was preparing against the #1 USF Bulls, then COVID hit the USF program, and Temple was rushed into a doubleheader in a weekend against Tulane. So I think it's important that we remember that they've gone 5-3 since that one weekend, and they played much better as a unit. From the outside looking in, Temple's an underdog in this matchup, but I think they've improved already. They're playing much more solid as a unit, and when you have someone as talented as Mia Davis, this could be anyone's game and could be one of the best in the entire conference tournament.
Thank you again, Josh, for jumping back in. Check him out on Courts in Session.
As the women's season nears its end, the Mayo Sisters are set to write their final chapter in a long journey of hoops together. OwlSports Update's Luke Milai has more.
Most collegiate teams preach family, but the Temple women's basketball team lives it. There are two Mayos on the team, fraternal twins and seniors, number 12 Emani and number 10 Nicolette. The duo have been playing together most of their lives, but that is likely to end this month.
I think it's been special to be able to play with somebody that you're used to and that you always been with. Like, that's the more thing. It makes everything more comfortable.
The Mayo Sisters are one of the few sets of twins playing Division I women's basketball together. In 2019, there were just 4 sets among the 350 teams.
It's really unique. A lot of people don't get a chance to play with any sister, and she's my twin.
For Emani and Nicolette, committing to the same school was a dream, but was not always in the cards. In fact, when recruiting time came, the lifelong duo nearly had to split off from each other.
Initially, I was a walk-on. Like, I followed her here. So, like, she was the one with the scholarship, and I could have went anywhere and got a scholarship. But I was like, nah, I'm going to come here with you.
Their names are the same, but their roles are much different. Emani is a starter, averaging 34 minutes per game, while Nicolette sees most of her time off the bench.
She sees things that I don't see while she's watching the game.
For her, it's always been about her staying locked in and me being the person that's always going to tell her the good and the bad.
The girls' hard work has certainly paid off. The pair are near the end of their final collegiate season together, now both on scholarship. Reporting for OwlSports Update, I'm Luke Milai.
We're taking our first time out, but when we come back, the men's and women's soccer teams are in conference play.
The volleyball team plays 2 at home, plus...
I'm Jen Radzwich, senior midfielder and OSU reporter. When we come back, we'll take a look at the Lax team's dominating victory over Villanova. You don't want to miss it.
It was the battle of the undefeated teams in Wednesday's match against Drexel. First half, our very own Jen Rodzowitz finds the net. It's in, just one of her 3 goals in the afternoon. The Dragons got 4 straight goals, taking and keeping the lead 9-6 at the half. Second half, Bella Mestra Pietro latches her way in for the goal. She's the Owls' leading scorer with 4 goals that afternoon. But Drexel 7-1-1 with 12 minutes remaining seals the deal. 19-11 final score. First loss for Temple this season, and the first time Drexel has ever beaten the Owls.
Anytime that a Villanova squad comes to North Broad, there's guaranteed to be a little extra energy. No one knows that better than the student athletes, one who happens to work with us at OwlSports Update. Lacrosse player Jen Rodzowicz has more on a big Owls 17-2 win over the Wildcats last Friday.
Thanks, guys. In just the second game of the year, the Temple lacrosse team took one of the Big 5 rivals, Villanova, and finished the game with one of their most commanding performances in more than 20 years. The women's lacrosse team annihilated the team that ended their season last year before the COVID-19 pandemic canceled their season. The final score was 17-2, which was the largest goal difference since Temple beat the Wildcats in the 1998 season. Altogether, the team was able to perform outstandingly on all parts of the field. This team has shown to have several outstanding players who can continue to show up every game. Some names that you might want to become familiar with are Belle Mastro Pietro, who had 6 goals on the day, and Bridget Whitaker, Megan Hoffman, and Mackenzie Roth, who all combined for 9 goals on that day. This was Temple's first time beating Villanova since the 2017 season, and their best defensive effort since 2002 when they played UMass Amherst. The Owls will look to continue their hot start to the year before the conference matchups start later in the season. Next up for the Owls is a game against Towson on Wednesday. Reporting for OwlSports Update, I'm Jen Rodzowicz.
Thank you, Jen. Diversity is one of the biggest points of conversation in all areas of athletics today. Lacrosse made that conversation present well before the events that made national news. The biggest voice coming from Temple's associate head coach, Jennifer Wong.
Jennifer Wong has been involved in the game of lacrosse for the last 25 years. That includes 11 years coaching here at Temple. But her biggest impact might glimmer in coming years. Wong is one of the very few minority coaches in the college game.
When she speaks, people listen.
In 2009, Wong's coaching career advanced towards mentorship. She became the Intercollegiate Women's Lacrosse's Outreach Committee Chair, where her job was to identify, recruit, and mentor future minority coaches.
I actually got involved because at the time there were very few minority coaches in the game. I think at the Division I level, there were less than 5 of us.
Project RIM really had to focus on, all right, well, who is already coaching? Let's start there. Who's coaching and how do we keep them in the game?
The goal was to find young coaches who wanted to get in the game or stay in the game, and they needed some mentorship.
Her work with the IWLCA did not stop there. In January 2021 fashion,
She taught at the IW Future Leaders Symposium. This is dedicated to encourage minorities to consider college coaching as a future career.
It was a 2-day symposium going over all of the things that college coaching entailed. It was a little bit about these are all the things that are great about college coaching.
Those lessons from others she brings back to her bubble at Temple, emphasizing the importance of listening.
Where we are right now, I think, is a place.
She really liked teaching people like how to do it physically.
currently 16% of lacrosse players and 7% of coaches are BIPOC. To increase these numbers, maintaining the ones in the game and moving them to mentors, as Wong says, is key.
Some chilly Saturday night soccer as the Owls welcome USF to town. Things get going early for the Owls as Amir Cohen puts one into the back of the net. Owls lead 1-0. With that goal, Cohen is named to the AAC honor roll for the first time in his career. USF responds with this goal from Jeffrey Copper, tying things up. The Bulls do add another goal, and the Owls missed a couple of key second half opportunities. USF wins this one 2-1. The men's soccer team is preparing for a matchup with the Mustangs of SMU this Saturday, as the 1-3 Owls look to snap a 3-game losing streak. SMU, on the other hand, enters the nest undefeated at 3-0 and ranked first in the conference. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m.
For Saturday's women's game against ECU. In the third minute, ECU securing an easy goal, but one slip-up did not stop goalkeeper Cameron Stadeline, who recorded 7 stays that afternoon. ECU up 1-0 at the half. 2 freshmen getting the job done for Temple. Lexi Andres with the corner kick, and Rosin McGovern carries it in for the girl, earning her Rookie of the Week title. Both teams tied at the end of regulation and head to not one, but double overtime. Still, no more goals in a 1-1 draw. The volleyball team falls against its first non-conference team. We'll take a look at the Owls' mid-season report and how they can bounce back coming up.
Plus, it's senior day for gymnastics. We've got you covered when OwlSports Update comes right back.
In their red uniforms, the women's volleyball team tried to get the job done against the veteran Towson Tigers this Saturday. Temple comes in hot for the first set, going on a 6-2 run, and sophomore Kayla Spells having 3 of her 12 kills in the first set. It wasn't pretty from there. The Tigers go on to show their experience, having a 34 hitting percentage to Temple's 0 in the third set. In the fourth set, Towson hitting a 60 percentage. Junior Jem Grinshaw did get another double-double with 14 kills and 13 digs, but Towson wins this match 3-1.
It's midterm progress report time on campus, so why not evaluate the volleyball team midway through its season? I'm giving the Owls a B+ for their record. They're 6-4, but have lost 3 of their last 4. As for their stars, Mireille Bolukbasha and Tyler Lindgren both get an A for their respective performances guiding this team. The only true disappointment is the conference record, which I gave a C since it slipped after an admittedly tough series against UCF.
Only 5 matches left before the volleyball postseason, and for the Owls to make a run, they need to continue to have significant help from 2 players, Taylor Davenport and Mira Bullock-Boja. OwlSports Update's Nicolette Mayo has more.
It's certainly not an easy thing to do.
Even with a month riddled by ice storms and frigid temperatures, the Temple volleyball team is one of the few teams that is on schedule this winter and winning. 2 reasons come thanks to a freshman-junior duo in number 14, Taylor Davenport, and number 16, Mira Bolik Basha.
We are mentally and physically really well. Looking forward.
On the defensive side of the ball, Davenport leads the team in blocks. No freshman has led the Owls in blocks since 2007. Though Davenport has proven to be productive on the court, she had an extra semester this past fall to get used to that transition to the college game.
Definitely different. Like our season getting canceled last semester definitely helped me out.
Mira provides the offensive power for the team with kills and points per set. And it's a welcome addition after the junior missed some of the 2019 season with the shoulder injury.
After a big surgery, like coming in that strong makes me really happy.
Thanks to COVID-19, it has the volleyball team playing at a time of year that they are not used to. But they have been lucky that not one game has been postponed or canceled.
I'm just very grateful to be playing right now, especially with like COVID going on and then like all the social issues.
The volleyball team is currently 6-4 overall with only 5 matches left in the regular season. The Owls are looking to finish the COVID season with a playoff berth.
But I think for the rest of the season, we have good chance of making to the championship.
And much of that success, if possible, runs through Davenport and Mirai. Reporting from OwlSports Update, I'm Nicolette Mayo.
To gymnastics, over the weekend, the Owls took a trip to North Carolina for a tri-meet with UNC and NC State. In the end, they came up short, losing to both squads. But it wasn't all bad. OwlSports Update's Brooklyn Vaughn is here with an update.
Hey, Ray. Yeah, not the outcome that the Owls were hoping for at all during that meet. But I will say that it was a great day when it came to the floor for them. Of course, 2 really strong performances, routines from Faith Leary and Ariana Castrense. But it's really no surprise they have been excelling on the floor all season long. Of course, there were a couple individual accolades, too, even off the floor, that were really impressive for them.
Thank you so much, Brooklyn. To catch more of Brooklyn, you can tune in Tuesday on Owl Access Pass.
Junior Jackie Terpak spent the past 2 years competing with the gymnastics team, but this year she started a new chapter of her athletic career that doesn't involve the mat. OwlSports Update's Brielle Berry brings us the story.
For nearly 18 years, all Jackie Terpak knew was gymnastics, and that included the first 2 years of her collegiate career at Temple. But after injuries and struggles with her mental health, Terpak's body and mind needed a change, a new job title, leaving the sport as a player and taking on a new role as an assistant coach.
I still wanted to be a part of the team, and they still wanted me to be a part of the team as well. So they did give me the opportunity to become a student assistant coach. And for my health and my career, that ended up being a much better option for me.
Jackie's a phenomenal athlete, but in her new role, she's excelling the same as she would have, when I recruited her then. This is the expectation level I had for her as a gymnast. She's exceeding my expectations. She's just doing it in a different way.
Jackie's new role has her doing what she loves. She's a media studies and production major. One of her jobs on the team is mixing and cutting the team's floor music, as well as producing Tug Talk on her YouTube channel.
Welcome back to Tug Talk.
After she graduates, Jackie hopes to become a college gymnastics coach. Although her position has changed this season, her only focus right now is getting the coaching mindset and helping the team get better. Reporting for OwlSports Update, I'm Brielle Berry.
Thanks, Brielle. From the mat to the gridiron. Last Thursday, I joined the show with Dom Gillespie and Jackson Neal to break down the football schedule after its release. Now, with exactly 6 months until the first game, OwlSports Update's AJ Patel has the story on what to look for from the program heading into 2021.
With the release of the football schedule in mid-February, Temple's biggest opponent might not be the opposing roster, but instead their own. The Owls have big holes to fill at many positions, including running back and quarterback. Some players left thanks to graduation, while others to the transfer portal. That puts pressure on the returning crew and the new 17 signees for this upcoming season.
They're going to have to contribute, and if they don't, it's going to be another long season.
That impact will start at quarterback with 7 players on the roster. There is Riel Mitchell, who started a few games last season, and there is former 4-star recruit and Georgia transfer Dewan Mathis.
You know, he's very much in line to be Temple's starting quarterback. With Anthony Russo gone, with Trad Betty retiring from football, he's going to come in and compete for the job.
And it all starts right here, where players like Jaden Blue and Amir Tyler will look to lead the Owls this season in hopes of building team chemistry, something the Owls struggled to do last season, winning just one of their 7 games. And the transfer portal makes this offseason even more unpredictable.
It will be just a completely different feel than any of us have been through before. So we can weather this because it's so unprecedented, but you're certainly worried as a coach. Yeah, I mean, who isn't?
So how do they recover from that? How do they try to take what they can from last year and forget it and say, we're better than that?
It all starts with spring football in March and then the season opener at Rutgers on September 4th. At Edberg Olsen Hall, I'm AJ Patel, OwlSports Update.
It's time to take another break.
We'll be back in 90 seconds. Welcome back to OwlSports Update. Y'all might remember superlatives from grade school. Best smile, most athletic, best dancer. For this segment, we're handing a few superlatives for some Temple teams.
Yes, I recall superlatives. As the proud winner of most likely to win a powerlifting contest, I can attest that these things always hold true.
So we're going to start it off with most likely to succeed. For me, goes to the fencing team. They have one more meet left of the regular season, and they are undefeated with 2 of those teams. It's most likely to see them coming up on top.
I've got to go with women's lacrosse. Beating Nova by 15 goals, sheesh! Their conference isn't exactly forgiving, but they are an improved squad getting contributions from across the team. Belle Mastro Pietro also feels like someone we'll be talking about for the next few years.
Next up is brightest future. I got freshman volleyball player Felenica Danielson, who's setting new highs all around. She had a career high of 32 digs against Delaware, then had 16 games in the match against Towson. Did I mention she got AAC honor roll for the 2nd straight week? History has its eyes on this owl.
Women's basketball's Jaisha Clinton is my pick. She's a bucket, averaging over 13 points per game as a freshman. She scored more points over her first 20 games at Temple than legendary WNBA forward Candice Dupree did. Not to put those type of expectations on her, but she's shown quite a future.
For best dressed, the ladies of the gymnastics team in their brand new Queen of Diamonds leotard from early February. The diamonds were inspired by Russell Conwell's Acres of Diamonds speech and Temple's mission statement. Plus, diamonds are always a girl's best friend.
I have to go with the black men's basketball uniforms. The script with the white outline. Nike did something impressive here. I might try to walk on just for that fit.
So you know what time it is. We got our trusty calendar breaking down all the weekend games ahead. Friday, men's cross country competes in its last regular season meet and alumni night for gymnastics. We got fencing, men's soccer at home, and field hockey against Villanova Saturday. Sunday, all home games for these 3 sports. Senior night for gymnastics. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at OwlSports Update for live game coverage. Our fun has come to a close, but Jackson Neal and Dom Gillespie will be back here same time, same place, so be sure to check them out.
Yes, until next time, she's Courtney Murphy, I'm Ray Dunn. Thank you so much for watching OwlSports Update, and we will talk to you real soon.